When life throws you a curveball, how are you going to handle adversity? Welcome to the Fearless Mindset Podcast, where you're about to go on a journey as I interview security, business, and entertainment leaders on what it takes to stay fearless. I'm your host, Mark Ledlow, and enjoy today's episode. Here was I'm seeing a transition from what you're doing as a business owner, entrepreneur, in which you are an entrepreneur several. How many businesses do you have over? Like 6?
I really have it all comes down to 3.
3. Okay.
But I have 5 brands. I have multiple brands underneath them, but it really is Bravo Research Group. And the League, Bravo Research Group, my boutique private security company. We're out here in California, Texas, and Florida now. And then we have the League of Executive Protection Specialists, which is my school. And then we have the Protector Nation. So it's private security organization, industry facing training with the league, get for professionals, but civilians can come play too. And then it's everyone facing protection training through Protector Nation. My mission is to multiply protectors in the world. I'm a protector that wants to multiply protectors in the world because I believe protectors are the white blood cells in the body of humanity. The more protectors we have, the safer off we all will be, the better the world will be. And so I'm doing that digitally, physically, putting teams together. I want more protectors in this world. That's what I was created for.
What is your vision for the next, let's say, 2 to 3 years? Where do you see Byron going in a trajectory of, in your vision, your dream? I like the idea of what you're doing at the expo. I think it's needed. And I think talking to Tim Wenzel and Lee Ogden over there, they want to do some cool, fun stuff. Shout out to Ricardo there at Silicon Valley Security Group. The old way of doing networking is changing, and people want to really just get to know each other.
Yep.
Depth of PowerPoint, like you say so well, it's turning people off. It's not attractive. People just don't want to be bored. So are you going to be doing more expos? Is that you're going to try this one out? Because you've been doing these events for several years now.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't want to give away all my secrets. Yeah, I'm saying, got to keep them guessing. You know what I'm saying?
Keep them guessing.
I heard somebody some people were thinking about doing the Protector Games because I dropped it a few years ago. And then I heard it was about to, and I was like, no, we're doing the Protector Games right now. Right now, we're doing it in this upcoming event. So we got that one now, which was my idea a few years ago. But yeah, man, what I see is people want actual value for going to these events, not just cool points for, we always go to the event, we show up, no, they want actual value. And so I'm aiming at getting them that actual value through creating memories and relationships with people in the game that will last. We had a blast for a weekend together in San Diego. I can't wait to go to that event. Now, the thing about this event though, is I can pick it up, plug and play it in different areas. So I'm talking with some other people about doing some of these overseas. And if you want to maybe have me bring if you want us to bring an EP Expo to you where in another part of the world, reach out to me, if you go to the EP Expo website, if you go to executiveprotectionlifestyle.com and you click on the link for the EP Expo, there's a sponsorship thing there. Hit me up, you get on my calendar and we can talk about it because someone hit me up about that this morning. So we might be just doing an EP Expo tour for different segments of the market. The other thing with regards to, the actual reality of the industry, I think with the election cycle coming up, I think regardless of a lot of what we're dealing with socioeconomically, I think we're going to be looking at some work, guys like us and companies like us. And there's going to be even more of a demand for high quality manpower through my school with the hard skills intensive and the immersion course, the operational skills. I'm looking to turn out real agents that can really protect, that know their medical, their driving, their firearms, that can really be ripe for when the social unrest kicks off. If the things that we know the World Economic Forum and the FBI is putting bulletins out about, and Homeland Security is putting out bulletins, if something along the lines of a cyber strike or an EMP or an active war or any of these things that are looming around, that should be in your catastrophic emergency management plan for your clients, I'm going to be training guys that are going to be ready for that. And the third thing that I think I'm seeing is, and this has been happening with me, is private security operators and operations and companies helping out with things, obviously securing a lot of brick and mortar facilities. Because last George Floyd / pandemic, party season, we were slammed with requests more than I could even handle. I think
the surge was insane. The surge.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Hollywood was burning down. Things were burning in, like, what the heck?
Yeah, man.
I mean, we lived through a historical time, and during the pandemic, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing on TV for what, months and months. And just go, and I'm like, what the heck is going on in this country? And like you said, it's going to surge. The problem I saw was the lack of hardworking labor, manpower was lacking. It's just this young generation. It's a different mindset of work that they have.
Yeah. And it is a different mindset at work. It's a different level of personal honor, right?
Personal honor.
Your word was your bond. Your name meant something, whether you like the company or the client. My last name is Rodgers. I'm representing my family. Like, that stuff has kind of gone out the window.
How come? What do you think? What's happened there, do you think?
I think there's been a war on values in society, and you got all these people getting famous for nothing. There's a shift in values now, and we see that in multiple areas of our culture. And these masculine personal pride values have been watered down and silenced, and so now we have these boys running around. And they don't have a sense of honor, and it's really dangerous. It's really dangerous for everybody. It's dangerous for company owners. It's dangerous for women. I mean, we have a situation. I dropped a video the other day of men just running around punching women in the face in New York. Like, they just punch. Like, this is impossible. Like, this was this was not possible. And the other part of that coin is there are a lot of weak men who won't do anything about it. So it's just happening. Masculinity is supposed to be self-correcting. You see a man beating a woman right now, you're going to be like, hey, bruh, I don't know what she did. I don't know what's going on, but you can't do this. At least not why I'm here. You know what I mean? Like honor. Like, you just can't do it, buddy.
It's not there.
Right or wrong,
Do you think the media has made such a negative connotation of being a protector out there? It's bad to be masculine and your masculine self to protect the situation, or they don't want to get sued? What do you think the younger generation is thinking?
I think it's a composition of those things. The younger generation doesn't know who they are, right? They don't even know if they're boy or girl in a lot of cases. So that sense of personal pride and that sense of moral high ground. This is the right thing to do, and society will back me if I do the right thing. That is 100% flipped on its head. We got guys jumping in, saving people's lives in subways in New York and going to jail for it. Like we got cops just trying to do their job and getting X'd for it. Like, we got, you know what I mean? So, like, the criminals almost have more rights. You could just go into someone's house and you can just squat and just hang out, and you got a free house. You know what I'm saying? You can walk into a liquor store and take $999 worth of stuff, and you got rights. And if they touch you, you can sue them. You know what I mean? Like,
wow.
So, why are there so many, why are there so many a-holes, for lack of a better term? Because we allow them.
There's no punitive damages upon them by our society laws. There's softness by the DAs.
Laws, and or like back in the day, you try that about 20, 30 years ago, you just get beat up. Like in the 80s and 90s, you would just get wrecked and no one would care, and the cops would show up and be like, go home or go to jail, bro. like that is it. The cops might even tune you up before they send you back to wherever you come from. But that that's masculine, and that's man law, and that doesn't exist. But what I think we're gonna see now is the migrants versus the Americans, right? So they started.
I saw a podcast about that just recently.
Yeah, man, they're dismantling America. They started with the white guys and the cops, so they took them off the moral high ground. So now, if you're white, you can't talk about nothing. And then if you're a cop, you're automatically wrong. And then next, they're gonna come for Americans, and it's just gonna be like migrants versus Americans. For migrants. In some cases, yes. But we're getting a little crazy with 10 million, who's even in the country. So then next they're going to be like, if you're American, shut up. And then they're going to start switching this country around. Maybe this is my theory, but when this chaos happens, it's going to be really hard to mind your business. And that's where guys like us enter professional protectors. And I think we're going to have a lot of work to do. And I think you better be legit because as far as I know, there are a lot of criminals from a lot of other countries that were deliberately sent over here to get down. And being that I'm a Marine from Iraq, 2 combat deployments to Iraq, I know what an insurgency is like, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know who the good guys and you don't know who the bad guys are. And these are combatants. They're not like, I know a lot of people train like, oh, when I get into my shooting, I'm not going to be fighting someone who knows how to fight. Homie, you're going to be fighting probably somebody who does know how to fight and actually who's been fighting while you've been trying to be a normal human and just go to your day job. Someone who's been acquainted with evil was doing dirty deeds last night, getting punched in the face. And so it's really important to be a legitimate protector if you're in a professional position. As a civilian, what's your mission? Get home to your family, right? So that's another conversation and question you got to answer for yourself. But if you're on a residence and these guys come to, get what's on that residence and it's game time, there's even a probability it'll be a sophisticated team because we've seen some sophisticated drone.
Crazy, isn't it? Jamming technology drones on the alarm systems. What the heck? Bro. These hackers? Are you kidding me now?
And they're quick, they're clean.
You don't even know they're coming.
Yeah, bro. These dudes kill you with a pencil. So,
crazy.
These guys are, so I just think we're in for it. And I'm really glad that I'm turning out people that are really acquainted with hard skills and soft skills. And I hope everyone else kind of just is bracing for impact because it was like they were calling the cops during the last pandemic. I had clients hit me up talking about, we need 4 guys downtown right now. I need a 6-man team. I'm like,
they're not around. They're not available.
Yeah, I couldn't staff all of it. I had to start giving work to my PPOs.
Yeah, I told them
to my other buddies. Yeah.
Well, anybody that's good is already working. They're already pre-booked for weeks and weeks. I'm like, do you have anybody? Yeah, it's going to cost you $150 an hour. What? I'm like, all the resources are tapped out, dude.
Yeah. And I even
supply and demand.
Yeah. I even had conversations with guys that I normally wouldn't have conversations with. And I was like, hey, we need to get this done. I need to drop you into this 4-man team. Boom, 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 boom. And I gave them the rate. And it wasn't a bad rate. I think it was like $500 for, it was like for what we needed. Just get down there. And they were like, now, mind you, on a scale of 1 to 10, this guy's like a 6.5. I was like, I'll put him in with a team of my hitters. He'll be okay. And he was like, and this didn't just happen once, it happened a couple times. And these dudes were like, $500. And I'm actually thinking homie, and this was, at the market at the time. Remember, we saw a surge in prices after that and all that. Mm-hmm. Right? But I remember some of these guys, I was giving good day rates out. And they're like, I got 3 other offers going right now.
Bidding war all of a sudden.
$600-$700 a day. And then they're like, I don't know, can you do better than that? I was just like, we shouldn't even be on the phone. I should never be talking to you in my life. I was so annoyed, but the demand was there.
It was.
And professionals, agents, for the first time since I've seen it, had the ball in their hands to say, I got a lot of offers on the table, buddy. What are you going to bring to, what's BRG going to do for me? I was like,
oh, wow.
God bless you, man. Good God for you.
I wish you well.
Yeah, I know, right? It was an interesting time.
But that shows and proves to the industry, we're not for everybody.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's a guard, you can call them a guard company, XYZ. I'm not going to say any names on the podcast because I don't want to get sued. But we know who they are. But what Byron Boutique Company, what my boutique company is, we offer a quality response time, communication with under 8 hours. I'm sure Byron can staff things under 8 hours too, and that's what those direct clients want. They want response, they want quality, and they want attentiveness, and then they want character and integrity. And supply and demand, they're going to have to pay the premium price to get that premium quality agent. It's just how economics work. And I think those 100%. Days are coming. All right. I think right now it's a little slow because everybody's watching their budgets because they know they're going to have to spend way above their budget here in a couple more quarters.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of what you're thinking 100%. Over there?
Yeah, people are. Well, I'm still seeing both out here, man. I got contacted by a client the other day who said, they're just tired of having low end security. Low, they went with a
Mm.
square badge security
Square
solution,
badge.
and
I like that one. Square badge.
right, kind of fits everyone in there without getting
Square
anyone in there.
badge.
So they went with a square badge solution, and they were just like, look, man, they're like, we need real professionals. We need real high end professionals. We've had some break-ins of the more sophisticated type. This neighborhood is Pleasantville, and we want real security. So I'm seeing some of that. And I'm seeing, once again, the family offices are kind of setting themselves up. But at the same time, a lot of people are paying attention to that, to the inflation and the socioeconomic factors that are impacting their bottom line. But these things I think they're gonna come to a head when they kick off whatever they kick off next for this election season cycle.
What's your theory on when will the hurricane tornado hit? When do you think that's going to probably approach?
One or two things, in my opinion, is going to happen. Either, I guess we're just going to get political, So like one of two things is going to happen. Like either they're going to try to make everything great leading into the election so that they try to sustain what they have. I think that no one's under any pretenses that the guy we got in office is going to stay in office right now. So I think that's probably off the table. What I think might also happen is, I don't know if this is a real thing or not, but I've heard that if we are in a war, that could suspend an election. So that's one interesting thing I have to research.
That's in the Constitution. I think I heard somewhere that constitutionally, if there's a declaration of war, it prolongs that term in presidency, right?
I've heard something like that too. So I have to research that more. So I feel like
that'd be a smart play,
Yep. And I feel like we've been doing a bunch of hood rat stuff to try to get more. We're funding a proxy war. We're maybe funding another one. Maybe there's things happening in the Middle East. There's things happening over in in Eastern Europe. And we're kind of in all of them in some way. And I'm like, guys, we're pumping our country full of unknown individuals. It just seems like the probability of drama is just increasing exponentially. And so I think that before that election, the probability is we're going to see mass drama because it could secure the position for the standing president or if someone they don't want to have in office gets in office, they push the little red button. Well, no matter who wins the election, there's going to be mass drama. There's just going to be drama. It's just going to be chaos. We saw what happened the last two elections, but
good God, it's an insanity. Do you think it's worse than the Vietnam era?
I don't know. I've asked a lot of older folks. I've been like, hey, because I've been around church my entire life. So, so I've always, at church, they have a tendency to always think like Jesus is coming back. So at least in my churches, so so I've heard my whole life, this is it. Y2K, Mayan calendar. This is always something, Jesus coming back on Tuesday, And so I've asked a few older folks hey, is this a cyclic thing? Has it ever been this gnarly, and every single person I've asked that's older has been like, no, this is a lot. This is different. And I'm dang it. I was hoping this was just something.
A lot of Christian circles are saying that, hey, we're the edge of Revelations, right on the edge of it. But back in the Roman times, there was wars going on all over the place. But now that we have a 24/7 news cycle digitally, we're hearing about everything within seconds.
Yep.
So everybody's hyping, and Fox drops something, and CNN drops something, and then you have the CNN narrative, the Fox narrative, and they're going back and forth. And now you notice how none of the wars are being covered right now. Nothing.
What do you mean?
I watch the news, and there's nothing being covered on the wars. And I do watch.
Yeah. No,
Israel, it's crickets. Ukraine, crickets. The border,
Yeah.
crickets.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
like you said, we have 18 million people. Estimation came over across the border. We don't know what military they're from or what country
Yep.
they're from. It's like, what the heck?
I mean, maybe they are. Maybe they are. Maybe they are just like trying to make everything seem tranquil, trying to make everything seem calm, but I think it's the calm before the storm, personally.
I would agree.
I tend to, I'm a very optimistic person. I believe in, my Lord Jesus. He's always guided me no matter what happens. But at the same time, it is our job to plan for the worst, right? So,
what have you been doing for planning? What's your strategy for
you're digging in there, you're getting all the good stuff, man. I can't tell y'all my whole strategy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know, right? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, on a personal level, man, we're securing food sources, water. Okay. So I got me about 16 chickens, most anabolically perfect food in the world. We turning out,
nice.
Close. Oh yeah, we turning out about 300 eggs a month. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to use that, right, to fund my gang once it goes down. Yeah. Everybody needs food, baby. Get on the payroll. You know what I'm saying? Get on the payroll. But also chickens are mobile. I could throw them in the trailer and we can bug out if we need to bug out. So we've got, cold positions already set that we know how to go that are outside of the city limits. Home's pretty defendable. We also have a well, so I got real actual water, but they might ruin that with whatever they. So, I'm just thinking ahead in these ways. We are looking at alternate communication devices, such as everyone's got an Iridium phone on the detail, and in the household they can use a phone. Everyone's got Garmin alternate communication devices wrapped in Faraday bags. We win a little tin helmet. So, we have our sat phones here. So if something happens, I can pull this bad boy out and I can start calling. And then the other piece of that is nobody knows how to navigate without a map, right? So the other thing, the Garmin GPS device.
Nice.
So now we're looking at, and this is what we're doing for our clients too. We're looking at communicating via Iridium network for location and conversation. So I can send text messages. We can hit the SOS button and get helos if they're not overran. Get a medevac if they're not overran. But everyone in the tribe's got these devices. And shout out to Tina at the Sat Phone store in San Diego. She is our vendor. Go check her out if you guys want to get dialed in. We're running a software called the Everywhere software, which basically puts your whole team on a grid. You can see everyone. You can see their locations. You can drive the team. I'm going to be running a course about this later on this year. California Grid Down Survival. I'm sad about it. You're asking these questions, man. You're getting the secret sauce. You know what I'm saying? But that's just this is what the team should be doing. Come up with your like something happens right now. Cell phone. And whether it's a natural disaster or it's civil unrest or it's an act of war, cell phone towers are jammed. How am I going to communicate with my team? How am I going to assemble those clients and principals? Do I know who's going with them to the cold position, the safe location that's outside of city limits? Because some guys are going to have families and they're going to be like, hey, bro, I got to get to my family. So you have to have that unit that's secured for that. You have to have a rotation so these guys can get the clients to a safe location, possibly bring your families out to that known safe, that cold position, where everyone can shore up. Because make no mistake, the ultimate. I was doing a consultation for a family recently, and the wife was like, hey, and they had everything. They had bunkers and ammo and oxygen underground, all this. And they're like,
smokes.
What do we do after it goes down if we survive? And I'm like, you start a gang.
You start a gang.
Manpower will be the ultimate asset. It always has been. It's what heaven and hell's fighting over. Yeah. That's what heaven and hell's been fighting over. That's always been the point, is manpower. So when you're going to want to keep your manpower intact, fed, watered, because that's your real safety. Just having money ain't going to matter in those days. So
Gold's going to matter. Metals are going to matter.
Metals, food, bullets, beans, and band-aids, baby. And
think about the debt we're in. $22 trillion in debt.
Yeah.
And I was watching the interview Tucker did with Putin. Putin knew exactly our weaknesses as a country. He's like, yeah, you guys are $22 trillion in debt. You have no money. I'm like, he's right. We're broke. Yeah. So metals, gold. I mean, what was your advice? Let's say traveling. Do you say carry cash? Are you into Bitcoin? What's the survival mechanism that agents should be?
Yeah, I mean, cash and Bitcoin. Now, those are the two. I love having my digital wallet because I can turn that coin into cash no matter where I'm at. And that's the best way I know to do it. I don't know that it's the best way, but it's worked for me, and that's the best way I know to do it. Gold's awesome, but like breaking it up and getting the right amount, all that, it's just cumbersome.
Now, if you go to overseas, let's say you go to Mexico or you're going with the client, different country, what is your typical tactical bag look like for currency? Just dollars, and do you just keep that and tradable products on you? You have to barter.
Yeah, man. I mean, the interesting thing about when it comes to like moving around in those countries, a lot of things that we don't like really care about are kind of cool and actually matter. Like a bag full of like Walmart flashlights go a long way in certain areas. Anything that you have on you. But when I travel, I always take at least $1,000 a week in cash with me. I want to have at least, depending on the country, but at least $200, $250 on me in cash. Obviously I have my med bag over here. I have my boo-boo kit, med bag, sat phone. A lot of times I'll try to grab a SIM card from that country in case I have any issues. So those are kind of the things that I bring with me. Depending on what we're doing, if I want to blend in, I'll look at what everyone's wearing there, what all the sports teams are there. We'll do a little when we do our advance, we'll do a little shopping. So while we're doing that advance, we're not standing out so much. Granted, I stand out everywhere because it's just my overall vibe.
Overall vibe, exactly.
I do have to warn you. I got a hard stop. I got another meeting in like 7 minutes.
Copy that.
The next, yes, sir. 2:30.
All right. Any last words, advice to the industry? I know you're going in the leadership world too. Leadership training. You like to do public speaking out there. You're doing that. You're doing some video gaming stuff. You like to diversify your portfolio.
Yes, sir.
Congrats on all that.
No, thank you. Yeah, that Call of Duty debut was just an unintended consequence of going after your dreams. They called me up and invited me to come and be a character. I think I'm in 2 of them. And it's just an honor. Go after your dreams, really. If I was going to give you some last words, I would say that you have no idea what's actually possible if you're willing to take your imperfection and sacrifice it on the altar of progress every single day. And really see what you can do by the grace of God. Go on the journey of just giving your best. Do that podcast even before it's perfect. Launch that idea before it's perfect. Get it as good as you can get it, because life is going to teach you what you need to know on the way. But if you never get on the way, you don't get the good stuff. You never become the thing. So just take action, crack off that shot, get in the fight, get punched in the face, get it started, because that's where you grow in the struggle.
Amen, brother. Well said. And folks, follow us on YouTube, subscribe to us on the YouTube channel, follow us on podcast platforms, and give us thumbs down, thumbs up, whatever. Make some comments, help with the algorithms. And thanks again, Byron, for coming on the show. And we got to let Byron run. And thanks for supporting me over the years. And thanks for being a brother and a fellow veteran.
Yes.
For your support in the industry.
Hey, it's an absolutely honor. It's a privilege. Thank you for having me. I'm proud of you. I'm honored to know you, honored to call you a friend. And can't wait to hang with y'all at the EP Expo. It's going to be off the hook. Let's go. Boom.
Semper Fi. Boom. Right
Semper
there.
Fi. Boom.
Bye.
Let's go.